Start.
What's up, everyone? I'm Scott,
And I'm Jason.
and you are listening to Liquid Carnage. Buddy, it is here. It is the almost official start of the summertime.
Yeah. And, we've kicked up the heat a little bit. I talked to my buddy in Denver today, and he said that they went through a 48-hour rain thing there where they had more rain in 48 hours than they've had in like 20 years. So, wherever you live, you're going to have some funky weather thing going on. But no matter what, the calendar says summer's here, time is right for dancing in the street.
That's right. I feel a little bit. It's funny at work. Like people tend to take longer weekends in the summertime. Like they'll take like a Friday, Monday off because the kids are out of school, or they're just the weather's better to go out and do things. And I feel like it's more socially acceptable to do that in the summertime and like around the holidays, but ever the rest of the year, it's kind of like it's not frowned upon. But it's like, well, what the hell are you gonna go do? Like, what are you doing?
Well, I got to tell you, we had a discussion at work today. We were talking about vacation time because, as some of you may have gleaned from our podcast from before, I'm going on a long trip, a couple week vacation out of the country. And I saved up my vacation time, rolled over from last year. So I had enough time to put on the books and do that. And my coworker was like, "Oh my gosh, I just think that's so amazing that you're going on a trip." And I said, I told her, you're still pretty young. You get to a point where you realize saving the time or saving the money at some point is not worth it to experiencing things and
Yeah.
making your life a little bit more enjoyable. And so, a lot of people have looked at Noreen and me as like, "Oh man, we live vicariously through you. You guys are going on trips and going somewhere." And I never thought of it from that standpoint, but then I've added it up, and like last year we went on 6 trips, and this year we're on 4 already. We're going to probably have 2 more this in the wintertime. And it's because we're older, so we appreciate
Yeah.
the fact it's like, hey, when you got the time, use it.
Yeah. Right. You might as well.
Yeah, and so when I was talking to her, I was just thinking, yeah, we kind of live fun lives like that. Like, you enjoy the experience. And that's the biggest thing. We enjoy the experience. Some people like, hot rods, some people like to go shopping for clothes. We like to spend money on vacations. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But you get to a point where it's like, hey, okay, if we have the money, why not enjoy it?
No, that makes total sense for what you're trying to do. And yeah, for me, I love the idea of taking those long vacations. I can talk myself out of them very quickly, not because of the price, but because of everything else I have going on in my life. To me, and this is just strictly my opinion, sometimes it feels like it's a bigger hassle to go on vacation because of all the things it affects around you. Because I'm still at that stage in my life.
Okay.
It's like, well, shit. If I'm not here to handle this or take care of that, like I don't trust the people to do it the right way, and it's not the greatest excuse, but it's sometimes in your head it pacifies it. And I'll be honest, we've got a preteen and an 8-year-old in the house, so what you guys are doing sounds amazing. If we were doing that trip, my house was doing that trip, that sounds almost horrific, at least for the travel portion.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point because when you have younger kids, the idea of going on vacation is a lot different.
Yeah.
For example, last year we had Jameson. We went to Disney World, right?
Yeah.
And not that I don't mind Disney World but I'm not a huge like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest place on earth. And, and I've been with people who, that was oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing ever. I love this place, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so when I think about it, doing that with kids is a lot different than doing that with, 2 adults. Like
Yeah.
what we want to do is a lot different, right? We're going to do adult things, quieter things, a chance to relax a little bit more. Where you guys, you're not going on vacation to not do anything more than fill it with as many experiences that are kid friendly as possible.
Exactly. We're plotting a trip to Colorado sometime this summer, and I looked at the calendar, realized we're already in the middle of May, and that is quickly coming upon us. So trying to get plans confirmed right now is like trying to nail Jello to a wall.
Oh, wow.
Because
Okay.
there's so much going on at work on for both Janice and myself. It's hard, but you have to just take that time because you're at the experiences that they get to see and do, and it's a fun time. In the summertime, you're supposed to get out and go do these trips with families and have those road trip memories because I think it's important for the growing up process. I think it gives them a memory to even look back on and go, you know what, that was cool. I should do that with my kids someday. It's like, oh my God, that was horrific. It's easier just to fly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I remember when I was a kid, my mom, I was born and raised in Alaska, and we lived in Alaska. My parents for 2 weeks would send me down to spend 1 week with my grandmother and 1 week with my grandfather. And, I thought it was an adventure. How exciting. Get to see my grandparents who I loved a lot and got to fly on a plane. It was all great. For my parents, 2 weeks without the kid. I mean,
yeah.
now that I'm an adult, I don't even want to think of what my parents did for 2 weeks when I wasn't there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So they took the opportunity. We won't spend it on us. We'll spend it on you to go fly, and then we'll just stay here and enjoy ourselves.
Exactly. It's funny with the school year coming to an end. Janice's oldest is going to spend the first half of the summer with her dad, so she's gone, and then her sister is with her dad every other weekend. So basically, Janice and I have these little mini vacations for the first half of the summer of every other weekend. We could literally go do whatever we want to go do if we were available. One weekend we're spending with you guys down in Phoenix, and then the other two, well, the world's our oysters. We just can't figure out what we want to go do. But if we know it's going to be, it'll be fun for us. But we'll figure it out closer to time because it's easier for us to get away Friday through Monday than it is to take, 10 days at this point.
Would you classify yourself as a planner type of traveler, or do you like the seat of your pants, just go?
It depends. When I would travel to New Orleans for Halloween or New Year's in the past, I knew where I was going. I knew how long I was going to be there. And we had certain things that we knew we were going to do. But aside from that, fuck it. What's going to be is going to be. I know like this trip to Colorado, there's certain things, we have a finite amount of time. There's certain things that I know we want to do. So we're going to have to figure out how to plan everything around it and proportion it and see what stuff my brother wants to do. So that's going to take a bit more planning and just, figuring out, but we'll see what happens.
The only reason why I asked is because one thing I have noticed about traveling lately is that, you wait till the last minute and the expense is so much more than, sitting out planning. I mean, this trip that we're going on, we started the planning 2 years ago on this trip, and then COVID kind of sidetracked it. We had already had it all paid for, and then we sidetracked it. So we had to go back again a year later because we only had a year to use it. So now we're using it because we have to use it. And, but we planned it out pretty good. And the reason why I mention it is because one of the things we decided a year ago or 2 years ago was, hey, let's buy the tickets where you get the extra leg room, buy the seats that are kind of a little wider, a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. The cost is triple when I looked about 3 weeks ago for those same tickets. Triple.
Yeah, it's
so if you can travel or you can do something and plan for it, there are some benefits to doing that as well.
Yeah, and it's funny to me because I'm in that same boat. Like I'm okay spending a little bit extra on, comfort depending on how long the flight is. I've got a work thing coming up in the next few months where I've got to fly across country, and the airline I was I didn't choose it. I was told to take through the corporate entity was Frontier. It's all right.
God.
What's that?
Oh, I said, oh God.
Yeah. Have you flown Frontier?
Yeah.
What's your experience with that? Because I looked it up today, and no Wi-Fi.
It's a discount airline.
Yeah.
I mean, I used Frontier when I don't know if you remember me back in those days when I was living in my car and I had no money. Yeah. I would fly Frontier because I could go round trip to wherever I needed to go for like $89.
See, because I've flown Frontier before a couple times, like going to Colorado like years ago to see
Yes.
my old roommate or whatever. And it was a fine flight. Like the TVs in the back of the headrests and it seemed good to me.
How things
Okay.
change, my friend.
Okay. That's
No,
what I
no,
need to
no, no,
hear.
no. What I mean is how things change in terms of what you classify as acceptable and
Yeah.
nice and what you don't. That also changes with age.
Yeah, no, I agree completely because normally I'm used to flying Southwest and that's not the greatest either, but I know what I'm getting and I'm fine with it. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm with you.
Because I look at like the air flight, like you're just trying to get from point A to point B.
Okay.
If you can survive, especially this is a conference like somewhere in the back east, like it's fucking Georgia. So if I can fly back there, it takes 4.5 hours, and I can survive that in a seat. I can bring my Switch and play Zelda or watch movies on my iPad for that little bit of time. I can handle that.
Yeah.
If I'm flying like you guys are flying to Italy, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I want the extra space.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't flown across the ocean like that in 35 years, so I'm not sure what to expect. I don't think this plane is a 747. So I think it's just a, Airbus or whatever plane it is. It's not like one of those 747 jobs where, you have nice, amenities and stuff like that. But we decided to splurge 2 years ago. We bought the tickets 2 years ago to do the upgrade, right? And now like I said, I looked at the price and saw it was so much more expensive that I wouldn't have paid for it at now
Yeah,
if I had
yeah.
the choice.
The funny thing is though, it's also up to your other half. Like for you, Noreen, for me, it's Janice. Like of what you're gonna do, because you're right. If it was just you, you wouldn't have paid that.
No.
If it was just me, I don't think I'd have paid that either. But if they're comfortable, you're comfortable.
Now,
In
yeah.
our world right now, like we just had a concrete pad poured to build a back patio in our backyard. For me, it's concrete. Let's get the gazebo. Let's get the stuff. Let's put it up. Janice wants to stain the concrete this weekend.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't care about that because from my standpoint, we're going to put a gazebo over it and probably some kind of rug, something to hide it, furniture. It's there to be something solid that we can put things on and utilize. But we are making this concrete in our backyard look like marble apparently this weekend
Oh, beautiful. Wow. Okay.
because that's what she wants to do. That's the upgrade. That is the splurge we're going to do because it has to look nice. By the way, future reference, if she asks you what color you want the concrete to be, or any woman asks you what color the concrete should be, the answer is not concrete gray.
Okay. I won't say that. I promise. I can already tell
Because
that would be a bad answer.
that was that was the wrong answer. So long story short, we're splurging for our luxury for a marble looking piece of concrete.
Well, we've had this discussion too. There are certain things that are not deal breakers to me that it's not worth the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And certain things I value that she doesn't value and vice versa, that it's okay to say, you know what, if you want this, then you do this. And I'm okay with that. I will say though that I've gotten to the point in my travels that if I had a choice between staying at like a Motel 6 and staying at a nice hotel, I choose the nice hotel.
Yeah.
I choose an Airbnb. Like I don't go for the cheapest Airbnb. I'll spend a little bit of money and I'll get what I pay for.
Yeah, it goes across the board in different things too. I was talking to a kid in our gym the other day, and she's about ready to go to graduate high school, and she's a world class CrossFit athlete. Like she's gone to the games. She's about to qualify for the World Games as an adult for the first time. She's gone the last couple years as a teen, and we were talking about car insurance or whatever else. Because I said, the last 2 weeks of school, you're going to graduate. You're going literally you're walking to get your diploma, getting in a car, and you're going to regionals for CrossFit. Like, are you enjoying yourself, or like what's going on? And she just started talking about her car's breaking down, this, that, the other thing. And I said, well, that's what AAA's for. You call AAA, they come and they fix it. And she goes, I don't have AAA. I've got liability insurance. I'm not even sure what that fixes. I said, that's a good point. But as you get older, you realize your insurance gets cheaper. So what you're paying for now will get cheaper, but you have to have other things you can add on to it that will make your life easier, like AAA. There's different things, whether it's insurance or, I have to redo my benefits for work right now. So different short-term insurances, long-term disabilities, things like that. You pay a little bit more for, but you're paying for the peace of mind too.
Well, and when you're 18, your expendable income is a lot less, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
one of the benefits of getting into this advanced age is that, you've gotten to the point where you've raised your kids, your house payment is pretty stable, if not paid off already. You're making a little bit more money because you've been in your career for 15, 20 years. And so the idea of saying, what I wasn't able to, what do you call it? Peace of mind on because I didn't have the cash to do it. Now you say, I got the cash. I'll peace of mind it.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about getting older.
Yeah, I think so too. You have that ability. You have the chance to say, you know what, I can't take it with me, so I might as well, use it on something that could help me or someone close to me if necessary, if something happens.
Yeah. And, once again, everybody's different. Everyone's got a different thing that they're willing to spend the money on to do. I think that, for her, it's a short-term problem because, she'll get, like I said, a better job. She'll get a
Oh
nicer
yeah.
car. She'll get, all those things. And then, now, but I guess the one question that you have to ask, more money, more problems. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends. It depends what you want to spend your money on. You
Okay.
can put all your money if you find a way to live simply. And I'm just gonna say it, if you don't need a lot and you're fine living in, an apartment or a single wide or something because it's got four walls and a bed in the bathroom and you don't care about anything else, you can bank all your money and have all the money in the world and not have any problems because, but it's all what you spend it on,
Right.
it's how you use your money is what creates those problems.
Well, and if you watch YouTube videos on money management, stock investing, financial planning,
Our YouTube
everybody's
videos are very different. Go
everybody's
ahead.
got a video. Everybody's got an opinion of what you should do. And I always love this stock investor to say, "Oh, Warren Buffett doesn't know what he's talking about. Like he's an idiot. You don't want to invest like Warren Buffett." I'm like, one of the richest men in the world can't be too bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Can't be
found a
too
way.
bad. He can't be too bad when he's got what $50 billion in cash waiting to invest in something.
Yeah, I mean,
You
he's
know,
found a way. So
but
I
why do
think he has it
people even
figured out.
talk? Like you're a 22-year-old punk kid. What the heck do you know about investing that you're saying that Warren Buffett's an idiot?
Oh, well, most of those people don't even know who Warren Buffett is, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's a generational thing too, because you look at these younger generations now, or the youngest generation, and what they think it's important to invest in is not what I feel like it's important to invest in at all. Having any kind of cryptocurrency scares the shit out of me.
Oh, okay, yeah, and all the young kids, that's all they want to invest in.
That's all they want. I'd rather have the hard-earned money because it blows my mind when these people say you invest in cryptocurrency, and then they take the cryptocurrency and they sell it for real money. And then I think to myself, well, that defeats the purpose of cryptocurrency because you got that because you didn't think the real money was going to last, but you sold that for real money. So what's what?
Well, and the problem I've had with cryptocurrency is one person becomes a multi billionaire. There's a bunch of people that just got screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe with any stock investment, you buy a stock of any company, okay? You're buying that stock from someone, a person. Now, if you buy the stock at $100 and next year it's at $200, congratulations to you, but someone else got hosed.
Yeah.
Right? So the person who sold it for 100 is kicking themselves like, wow, okay, I could have got 200 if I just held on to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's a guy down here who talks about, they can sell your house for more money than it's worth. And, we have all the all the sellers and we have all the buyers and we'll make you more money. Well, wait a minute. If you're paying more than what the house is worth, then someone's getting screwed.
Exactly.
So you can't tell me that that's a win-win scenario. And when someone else is going to have to get hosed for that to happen.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to, you're right. Everyone always has. I, when it gets to that kind of finance, everyone's got their own interest at heart. They can tell you they've got everyone's best interest at heart, but at the end of the day, you're only going to be worried about your money and your investment and how it affects you. And if you can if you know you have a bad deal and you can convince someone else that your bad deal is a great deal and that you're giving them a deal for said deal, uh, is it wrong to sell that for the amount they're willing to pay for it?
No, not at all. Like the house guy. I mean, if I put my house on the market for $100,000 more than it's worth on the market and someone's willing to pay for it, you know, all the better.
Yeah.
I get that. But it's not like, oh, you just did an amazing investment. You could argue someone made a horrible decision.
And that's really what it comes down to. Someone's great investment is another person's horrible decision.
Now, the other part that's hard on that too is sometimes you think, oh, you bought this house for 100,000 more than it's worth. Ha ha ha, I won that. And then 3 years later, he sells it for 3 times what he bought it for.
Yeah.
Then I got screwed, right? If I would have held on to it.
Well, that's the gamble we all take, though. Real estate is that gamble, and that's the one thing they're not making any more of is land. And if you can get a good price on something that's in the path of development, you could possibly sell it, make a huge chunk one day, and or you could buy 40 acres in BFE and leave that to your kids or your next of kin, and it's still just what it was when you bought it.
Yeah.
40 acres in BFE, it's a gamble.
Well, and I mean, you think about the vampire down in Laughlin. I mean, he bought a shitty trailer on the river and started a casino with what, 3 blackjack tables and 20 slot machines
And
in a
look at them
place
now.
where no one thought anything, right? Like, this guy's a moron. What's he doing down there?
Yeah,
Turned
and
out
look at them
okay.
now.
It
Yeah,
turned out okay. The vision, he had the vision.
still the ugliest casino in Laughlin, by the way.
The man's a freak. The man is a freak. He can be successful, but he's a very weird looking dude.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's when you stop aging, essentially, or it's like a vampire-esque feel. I mean, it's just paint the walls, change the carpet. That's all I'm asking. You know, it's really brightens the place up.
He had done an interview and someone asked him, well, how much money does the casino make? And his response was, well, I'll give you an idea. The entire operational cost to run this casino is paid for by the nickel machines.
Holy shit.
Just the nickel machines. Now that was a few years ago, so maybe things have gotten more expensive, but I doubt to think that way. Not to mention, like you said, that casino probably doesn't have any debt on it. It's probably
Yeah,
fully owned. So
yeah,
there's no mortgage. There's nothing on there for that. So yeah, he's probably doing okay.
yeah. I think so. I think that's not a problem. Yeah, he's fine, and I'm sure he's got other investments out there too.
Hey, if someone gave you $1 million right now, would you sell your house and buy something else or build something?
Yes.
So if someone came to you with $1 million, you would definitely upgrade your house.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I told Janice that when everything was blowing and going out here, I said if someone came to me and offered me an X amount of dollars, I think it was like 400,000. If they offered me 400,000 for this house, we're moving with my parents. Plain
No,
and simple.
what?
Oh yeah, I said until we could figure out because we will for what I owe on this house, which isn't much. We can move into their back room and figure out or get a fifth wheel and figure out what we're gonna do and use that money to either build something or buy the house we want.
Yeah.
But that ship has sailed because the interest rates are higher again and the values have dropped a little bit. I don't think I could get that for my house for that now, but it wouldn't hurt me for trying.
Yeah, no, we're in the same boat. I mean, but our thing is like, this is a perfect house for us. We looked at a house that was a little bit more expensive and the idea of going up double on our house payment just wasn't an interest to us. But if I
Yeah.
had the cash to just pay this house off, well, I don't know. We have a pretty low interest rate. Maybe I wouldn't even pay the house off either. I don't know.
And that's the thing too, because when you have the mortgage, even if it's small, it still pays your taxes and everything else, your
Right.
insurance. So, I mean, it's less hassle. It's kind of a weird thing to think about like that, but like, you get the interest right off for taxes. It's not that big of a deal. For me, like, her youngest is 8, so we're here for, another
10 years.
10 years. yeah, essentially. So that goes quick. I've already been in this house for 7 years, and it
Wow.
doesn't feel like it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Time
we
flies.
just, in fact, Thursday we'll celebrate 4 years here at this house already.
Yeah, and the way I see it is like, well, it's tight for the four of us right now, but as children grow and leave, and this becomes like a two-person house again. It's not that bad. It's in a growing location. Maybe just start, building around it. It's not the worst idea.
Now, I will say that your conversation with your bodybuilder lady is it's kind of a weird
CrossFit,
conversation because how many
CrossFit.
people do we know? Well, whatever. She lifts weights to help build her body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I mean. That
Yeah.
she works out. How's that?
Potato, tomato, but go ahead.
It's
Yeah.
potato, tomato. Perfect. But some people never get off that. They take whatever they were doing at 20 and they turn 80 and they're still saying, well, I don't have any money. No, you got more money. You know what to do with. No, no, no. I don't have any more money. So everyone does things differently with their money and that's fine. But she might decide, you know what? I like driving a little piece of crap car it's paid for and I don't have very much cost on it.
See, that's the hard part for me too. It's like, I my mortgage is so cheap at this point. I'd have a hard time leaving this mortgage, and that's what it is. It's you're mentally okay with it because you have extra funds to go do other things.
Well, and now on the other side, you've always had a brand new truck. I've never had
Yeah,
a brand new truck.
yeah.
So you spend your money in other areas. And I don't know when you made that conscious decision, but you said, hey, I want a brand new truck. You've always had like a newer truck.
Yeah.
So she'll get that too, where she'll choose what she wants to do and what she doesn't want to do.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, it's all situational too. Like, you grow into your payment. My mom taught me that early on. It's like, you might feel like you're stretching yourself thin on a payment. Like my first mortgage in my first house was $600. And I think at the time I was making $10 an hour. And my mom had to remind me, is like, yeah, that's a lot for you right now, but you're going to grow into it.
Yeah.
You're gonna grow into that payment, and it won't be anything after a while. And she was right.
Yep.
It's not a big deal, and you just gotta get into that mindset. And that's just learning about what your resources are as you get older.
Sure. Yeah. Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
So as we wrap up today's show, this conversation kind of went in a totally different direction, kind of finance, kind of just life philosophies, but that happens. But if you have a life philosophy when it comes to acquiring resources or using resources that's different from when you were younger, we want to hear about it. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. If you have any summer fun restaurants you want our EP to try in the Denver metro area, hit him up at liquid_EP on Twitter and the Instagram.
Yeah, we might have to revisit that topic again sometime. 5 things that we would tell our younger selves now that we've gone, because we did that episode, 3 years ago, I think.
Oh yeah.
3 or 4 years ago. And we should go back now and say, okay, what are we going to tell our younger selves, or what are we going to tell the young kids, rules to live by?
Well, I'll tell you what's a good idea. Since you're about to go abroad for a couple weeks, what you should do for one of our shows is replay that show, reload it so our newer listeners don't have to go digging for it because we have so many to the start of season 7. And when we come back the following week, we could have the 5 things we would tell ourselves from 3 years ago.
Okay, I'll try to find that. That would be good.
I mean, that seems like it solves a problem we were discussing earlier, and it would give us a great leadway back into the show once we resume normal activities.
Well, I always think about the Tracy episode. That was 6 years ago. And I'm sure that woman is probably dead now, right? She's probably
She's
gone.
probably passed by now. Yeah.
But that was a fun episode too.
Yeah. Oh my God. If you are listening to the show and you haven't gone way back to our early days when we were actually recording across from each other instead of from 200 miles away, there's some great shows out there. The Tracy episode, Avril Lavigne and the Lizard People, still one of my favorites.
Yep.
Relationship deal breakers. People still ask me about that all these years later.
That one, I have to say, is still our number one performer.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good show. I mean, we do good work when we want to.
You know what? I might just re-release that one and the money one. We'll just throw a bunch of them on there.
Yeah. Just our greatest hits. That's our 7-year anniversary. Season 7 starts this week?
Yeah, it started this week. Yep.
Yeah, season 7. So as us showing our appreciation to our new listeners, if there's any out there, here's some of our older stuff, so you're not going all the way to the bottom. We appreciate it.
Hey, you
We
know what?
appreciate you
Star
guys.
Trek: The Next Generation had 7 seasons, and we're about ready to pass them. So,
Well, I think we passed on episode wise, so we should be fine.
but we probably did pass them episode. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Well, that being said, Jason, take us home.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate you. That was Scott. I am Jason, and as always, if you never know quite